Hi, I'm Chief Brooks of the Norwood Police Department. You know, as Chief of Police, one of my favorite things to do is go into the schools and read to kids. But with all this going on these days, I just haven't had a chance to do that in a while. So what I thought I'd do is read to you kids today. And the pages of the book will display on the screen as I read. You can read along with me and you can see the pictures. The book that I've chosen is actually our own children's book called Your Norwood Police Department. So let's get started. Police officers are here to help and protect everyone. This picture was taken of Lieutenant Benedetti and Officer Cordero on the roof of one of the buildings uptown on Norwood Day. You can always ask an officer for assistance. At the top you can see Officer Hoyle autographing her baseball card, and at the bottom is Officer Jamie Mazzola. Norwood has over 60 sworn officers. The top picture was taken at Norwood High School, and we used that as a recruiting photo when we were trying to hire new officers. The bottom photo is a picture of the police department taken a couple of years ago. There were both men and women officers in Norwood. You see in the middle there, Sergeant Sarah Lydon, and holding the American flag is Sergeant Will Fundora, and holding the other flag is Officer John Rooney. Officers are trained at the Police Academy, a special school for police officers. And that's a picture of Officer Austin Glazier graduating from the Police Academy. He's in the middle, and I'm there with Deputy Chief Kelly to celebrate his graduation. Police officers make a promise called an oath to do their best to try to keep everyone safe. And that's a picture of Officer Kevin Joseph. He's actually now a sergeant. And that was the day that he began his work here at the police department, and he made a promise to protect everyone. Officers continue training throughout their careers. Now the top photo is several of our officers doing some training on what they would do if there was a situation that we had to handle. And that bottom picture is firearms training. That's actually me out on the range practicing with my handgun. Police officers love going to school, and both of the photos that you see there are taken in the classroom that's right here inside the police and fire station of officers sitting through a training session. Within the department there are different ranks such as chief, deputy chief, lieutenant, and sergeant. Sarah is a sergeant, and that's actually Sergeant Sarah Lydon the day that she was promoted. NPD officers begin their workday at roll call with their shift sergeant. They get updates from previous shifts and get their assignments for the day, and that's Sergeant Fundora holding roll call with the day shift. Police officers are given many different assignments. They might patrol the streets of Norwood, and there's a picture of officers at the top. At a nighttime event, you see that's Officer Jamie Mahoney, who you may know. He's the school resource officer at the Coakley Middle School. And that's Sergeant Tim McDonough. And in the back is Officer Dan Kehoe, who recently retired. The bottom photo is Officer John Rooney and Officer Adam Osowski, and they're on foot patrol in South Norwood. They might investigate a crash scene, and that's officers investigating a crash at the top, and at the bottom, that's Lieutenant Benedetti and a firefighter discussing a fire that had occurred. They might have to make an arrest. They might assist other first responders in emergency situations. The top photograph was taken when a motorcyclist crashed on Route 1, and he had to be flown to a hospital in Boston, and that's the Medflight helicopter. The bottom is the scene of a fire in South Norwood, and you see police and fire working together. They might make a report back to the public, and if you recognize that school, that's the front steps of the Balch School in South Norwood. And at the bottom, that's me talking to a TV reporter, Bob Ward from Boston 25 News. They might be part of a police honor guard leading a parade. Norwood police officers love visiting schools, and on that page you see me reading to kids, and you see Officer Jen Hoyle and Officer Jen Carmichael. And sometimes they might just be a friend, and that's Officer John Rooney on the top, chatting with a kid sitting on the sidewalk, and on the bottom, that's Officer Jen Carmichael again. NPD officers work day and night. 3 shifts cover 24 hours. Officers work 365 days a year, even in storms when no one else is outside. And that picture was taken by Sue Bartlett out the window of Town Hall, a picture of the town common as one of our radio cars rolled by after a snowstorm. NPD officers wear a uniform with a shield, and that's it on the left, with a patch and a protective vest underneath. NPD officers carry special equipment like, and on the left side you see the firearm, OC spray, which is kind of like mace, and handcuffs. And on the right side is a taser, a portable radio, and spare magazines for our firearms. And all officers carry the same equipment. Out on their beat, officers might patrol in a cruiser. They might be in the department wagon or SUV if their assignment calls for it. And on the top there you see Officers Rooney and Cordero, and that was actually during the gas explosions up in the Lawrence area where our officers responded to help out. Or they may be on a motorcycle. And there in the bottom right, a lot of you know Officer Jeff Baguma, and that's him on his motorcycle. Officers frequently patrol on foot, walking their beat. On the bottom left, you see Officer Jen Hoyle and Officer Jeff Landry walking foot patrol in South Norwood. Well, some assignments are best served on bicycles, and there you see our officers on bicycle patrol. Dispatchers at the station communicate information to officers. Information often comes from people making 911 calls. Sometimes officers meet people on the street who come to them directly for help, and that's Officer Kevin McDonough talking to a couple of young kids. And sometimes officers just take it upon themselves to help, and that's a picture of Officer Danny Huang and an older gentleman he was assisting. Our officers take pride in the responsibility given to them by the town of Norwood, and they're grateful to serve this community. And that's a nice picture of Officer Jeffrey Baguma with the town of Norwood behind him. That picture was taken in the tower at Town Hall. You can always reach out to an NPD officer for help. And talking to kids, squatted down there is Officer Jeff Landry, and on the right you see Officer Eddie Ferrioli, and at the bottom there's a picture of Officer Jen Carmichael. So that brings us to the end of the Norwood Police Department children's book in Norwood Police Department. I hope you enjoyed hearing the story as much as I enjoyed reading it to you, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks.